Hi, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us for the information session on the DYCD Leadership Academy. We're really excited to be kicking off this program this year, and are happy to be able to tell you a bit more about it. First, a bit of housekeeping. Joe, can you try to give me access again? For some reason, I'm unable to click through. Bit of housekeeping. We are recording today's session. We're going to make it available on our website for anyone who wants to watch this twice. Also, for people who are unable to join today, we are in a webinar format. So if you have any questions while we're going through, just drop your questions in the chat, and we reserve some time for those at the end to make sure that we get to answering everything. Our goals today, we want to tell you more about this exciting new program. We're going to tell you about the format, the content, considerations for applying. We'd also like to introduce our colleagues, the other technical assistance providers who will be delivering the content for the program, and give them an opportunity to talk a bit more about the things that they'll be sharing with you. And then also to answer any questions that you have. So with that, I'd like to introduce Deputy Commissioner Denise Williams, who has really taken the lead in making this important program happen. She's going to tell you a bit more about the DYCD, its objectives, and its goals for this program.
Thanks, Rebecca. Good afternoon, everyone. I guess I want to really say I'm excited that we're finally kicking this off. Almost everyone who's a panelist has been working on this for a year, but even before they came on, it's the vision of our Commissioner Howard to really strengthen and build out the pipeline of nonprofit organizations. And in his mind, initially, it was just a theory, like more money might be coming into the sector, and we're going to need really healthy, agile, well-run nonprofit organizations, the ones we have already to grow, develop, and the ones that are coming in to be ready. Because as you can see from DYCD's mission, we want to address poverty in New York City. This is DYCD is not a direct service provider. The way we do that is through funding and providing resources like capacity building to those in the nonprofit sector. And I jumped off another call where we were talking about an RFP that DYCD is working on that should be out this fall, right? And so before it was hypothetical and theoretical, and then the mayor came and decided to drop about $400 million into after school. And so while before we were telling you to get ready to grow and develop, because you never know what might happen, this is about what is happening in the city of New York. And it's not just us. They're talking about universal childcare. They're talking about growing mental health services. So if you are in the helping profession, and that is what your organization does for human services, this is the place you should be, because we have gathered experts from organizational development to finance to human resources to either help you build your first organization or get ready to grow, right? Get ready to grow. And so our goals is really for you to have those tools, whether you're coming to get your first RFP, or it's one of my favorite people in the field told me when we did schools out in New York City. He said, Denise, I went to bed as an organization with 3 contracts, and I got up and we had 15 overnight growth. And so those tools, strategies, and tactics, the strategy part is my favorite because it helps you think not just in today's context, but in where you're trying to grow. Look at what a healthy organization needs. We have folks on here who can help you build that organization, strengthen your leadership skills. Leadership is all about riding that wave, because if You're at an organization like DYCD. One day they're telling us we're going to grow, right? And the next day they'll say, oh, we have to look at cutbacks. And that's all about riding that wave. And, creating a community of peers. My peers within city government are often very helpful to me, but also my peers in the CBO community, my peers in foundations, and my peers that are on this call that share the very same vision I do of a New York City that is has an embarrassment of riches of strong, healthy nonprofits that really are the ones that make this city go. And if you were here during COVID, you know that's not hyperbole. It was the nonprofit sector, frankly, and the essential workers in New York City that kept this city together. So I think we've built something special. I think we've built something that is timely, even though we're a year, from our perspective, we're a year behind. But I think we're right on time, right? We're not late. We're right on time. So we've gathered this group. We're paying for it. I don't like to say it's free because people think free is less than, right? This just means you're not paying for it. DYCD is paying for it. But if you've ever thought about going to Columbia School of Nonprofit Management or all those other things, that's what you have in this room, and DYCD is paying for it. So if you're considering it and get all your questions answered, bring others, bring your boards, right? Bring others that are going to help your organization because we have fabulous folks here and we got the money together and the city is funding human services. So this helps you get ready so you can be ready to serve New Yorkers better. And with that, I'm just going to put on my listening ears and turn it back over to Rebecca and team. And I can't tell you how excited I am that this is coming to fruition. And I bring you greetings from Commissioner Howard, whose idea this was. Thanks all.
Thank you, Denise. All right, so next we're going to meet the team, starting with my colleagues, Joe and Hershini from 8Res. We're having a little control problems here.
Hi, everyone. I am Hershini, and Joe and Rebecca are here from 8Res. 8Res is an organization that helps nonprofits. We help them become stronger and prepare for what's ahead. So um, we understand that it takes work to be a good leader and to be a healthy nonprofit, and we support organizations in strengthening their leadership skills and their management styles. So they're using appropriate management styles for different settings, ensuring that all the work that they're doing is aligning to their mission and pushing the organization forward towards where they want to go. We help organizations make data-driven decisions. So data isn't a scary word, and it can be something that you are empowered to use. And we also help organizations adapt to new trends or surprises and challenges. So, for example, in 2020, we helped nonprofits think through whether they wanted to use AI or how to use AI, talk through the language of AI policy, when things like ChatGPT first became available. And then in 2021, we had a really interesting year, right? So we supported organizations navigating sort of that political uncertainty and what all the implications were following the election. So our role is really to make sure that nonprofits can stay nimble in the moment, but also plan for the future. So whatever that might look like.
Great. Thank you, Hershini. Lisa.
That's Hi, my name is Lisa White. I am the CEO of LY Consulting. We are a boutique consulting firm. We've been in existence since 2010, and our mission really is to cultivate collaborative, innovative, and creative workspaces for staff and organizations. So our expertise really lies around HR systems, leadership development, team dynamics, and organizational culture. And we work with both nonprofits and for-profit organizations, really thinking about it from a human-centered perspective that really focuses on ways on supporting staff, right? Really thinking about wellness, because we know that in nonprofits it's very hard. So how to create spaces that just feel where there's some alignment and that there's some support. We've partnered with DYCD for years, and we're excited to be here today.
Great, thank you. And Rebecca and Sasha from BDO.
Yeah, thanks so much. This is Sasha Terrace Mays. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I'm coming to you from South Brooklyn at the moment. And my colleague, the other Rebecca Kellogg, at BDO is here with me as well. And we're coming to you from BDO's nonprofit and grant making advisory practice. Our practice specifically works with nonprofits and their funders, and we sit in that space at BDO. We have actually been working with DYCD over a decade, so similar organizations, everything from workshops and cohorts to direct projects. So this is a real sweet spot of ours. And we've bring really a focus on financial management. So we carry a lot of the same missions and goals that you heard from all of the other providers, but we're thinking about what is the right fiscal infrastructure, people, process, technology to manage government funding, which does, kind of it comes with great benefits, also comes with a higher level of compliance requirements, reporting, administration. So yeah, we're pretty comfortable there, and we bring a lot of expertise in how to budget for that, cash flow projections, which becomes very important if you do have contracts, financial performance management, monitoring that you're going to be a sustainable, fiscally healthy organization, internal controls and compliance, policies and procedures you need to meet all of those things, and how technology, automation, and the right team can help you. We similar to 8Res, really ramped up with 2020 post-COVID and are doing similarly in the new environment we're operating. So we've added also scenario planning, knowing that there is a lot of uncertainty in the sector currently, and we also are familiar with how do you use financial modeling and thought and facilitate conversations to plan for all the different things that may happen. I think that's it for us for the moment.
Thanks, Sasha. We're going to delve into the program itself now, what the structure of the program is, the content that we'll be covering. And just to start very broadly, I think so far the team has talked about most of these content areas. It takes a lot to run a successful nonprofit. You can't just be good at one thing, you have to be good at 100 things. So we work together to come up with a scope that really hits on what we see to be the major things that you need to master in order for your nonprofit to grow and thrive. So all of these areas will be covered in the different parts of the program. There are a bunch of different components of the program. The first is that we will be doing core skill sessions 4 times. These are all in person. They'll be held at the 8Res office, which is in downtown Manhattan. It is one of the most accessible places in the city. You can take the ferry, you can take the train. Pretty much every subway line runs there. So hopefully a convenient location for pretty much everybody. Again, these will be all day starting at 9:30 going till 4 p.m. And we really look to make this really enjoyable and almost like a vacation, great food, all that stuff. We've spread these out over the course of the year so that it is possible for you to take an entire day away from your work. These are all Fridays and they're scattered about a month apart in each case. During these skill sessions, we'll be hitting on a number of different areas that have been mentioned already. In November, we'll be talking about what are the components that make up a healthy nonprofit, and also thinking a little bit about strategic planning for your organization as a leader of your organization. BDO will be leading the session in January on finance essentials for government funding, some of those things that Sasha started mentioning. And then in March, Lisa will be talking about HR essentials for nonprofit excellence. We all know you got to get HR right, or otherwise you got a lot of extra work on your hands. And then ARES will also be talking about program design for impact, how to tweak your program so that you're getting the most impact. And then finally, we'll talk about fundraising and having a great engaged board. So again, these are the 4 sessions that will be in person, downtown Manhattan, and the expectation is that participants will come to all 4, and I'm certain that after the first one, you would not want to miss any of the others. Scattered in between the core sessions, we have elective skill sessions. So these are also all going to be on Fridays, and they're spread out pretty much any Friday where New York City Public Schools are in session. Between December and May, there will be some elective offered. There'll be 90 minutes. They'll be online. And we have so far 11 planned. We might throw in 1 or 2 more because we can't stop adding to this program. We're so excited about it. A couple of things to highlight here. There's actually going to be 2 electives that will be led by people working in DYCD to help pull back the curtain so you can understand a little bit better what happens to an RFP once it's submitted, and also to understand what are the things that they're looking for in an organization as they're going through their RFP processes. And then each of the providers who you've heard from have a couple of different electives that are really designed to help your nonprofit grow, but also are sort of tuned into this very specific time that we're in right now. So you'll be choose 5 out of the 11. If you want to do more than 5, that's awesome. We also have some opportunities for smaller group support. So we have group problem solving and office hours. These are all also going to be online. We tried to create this program so that there's a balance between in-person time, which we think is so important, but also make it so that you can participate in the offerings and still not fall behind in all of your other responsibilities. So the times will vary for these. They're mostly mid-morning, mid-afternoon on Fridays, again, between November and May. So the group problem solving will be 90 minutes. We're going to cap it at about 6 participants, and those will be directly related to some other content that has already been presented. So if you attend a session on strategy, there may be a group problem solving on strategy where basically pick up where we left off and thinking directly about how you would apply that in your organization. So a bit more direct application. And then office hours, everyone on this call is going to be available for one-on-one support. So if you have questions, if you have a very specific situation with your finances or HR where you would like to get some one-on-one support and one-on-one coaching, that will be available to you. Finally, networking opportunities. Denise spoke about the knowledge of nonprofit leaders. So there's a lot of expertise in the people in this call, but there's also a lot of expertise with every nonprofit leader. And there's a real power to being able to connect with people who are in a similar situation with you and see how they're approaching problems, see how they've navigated different situations. So we have 3 networking opportunities built into the program. The first, we're very excited, Commissioner Keith Howard will be joining us for a kickoff event the evening of October 21st, which is a Tuesday. That will again be downtown at the 8Res office. It's going to be really nice. We're going to have some food. We're going to hear from Commissioner Howard, and we'll hear from Denise again, and then we'll have a keynote speaker. It's going to be a great opportunity to meet other people in the program, as well as people from DYCD and the TA providers. We're going to have some team building fun kind of in the middle of the program in those dark winter months when it's nice to have an excuse to get out and to meet with your colleagues. The exact fun is yet to be revealed. And then finally, we will end the program with a celebratory event with nonprofit leaders from New York City. So again, just like a great opportunity to meet other people in the nonprofit world in New York. So that's how the program is structured. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of the content. First, 8Res will talk about the scope that they will be presenting.
Hi, my name is Joe. I'm with 8Res, and something that we're really excited about all the time working with different organizations is trying to understand holistically, what is a healthy nonprofit. And we typically land on about 5 categories or components. And we're going to, over the course of this experience, hit on all of these. And we are really excited to partner with BDO and L White because they're outstanding. And there might be other providers also that you might be able to tap into. But on the 8Res side, we really are going to focus on 4 of the 5. We really have spent decades working on building leadership and how to build accountability structures, whether that's through cascading goals or other performance management systems. Um, and systems wise, we also do databases. So when it comes to like data frameworks, that's also something that we can touch on. Governance and strategy, your board and strategic planning, or how to apply strategy into the everyday these are topics that we're going to touch on that we think are incredibly valuable for organizations. Communication, connection, that might focus on some of your brand, some of how you communicate with the entire ecosystem that you're going to find yourself interacting with, whether that's funders, whether it's participants, whether it's other folks in the community. And of course, planning, delivering, evaluating, improving, how are you designing your program for maximum impact and efficiency, but also to manage it really well so it doesn't, get out of control. And improving is something that we care very much about. So there's a lot of this. What you see on the left, core workshops, electives, these are just illustrative. There's actually quite a few sessions that we're going to be providing. And through coaching or others, we're happy to support you in whatever ways make the most sense, because that's a really important aspect of our work as an organization, but also this academy, which is we want to tailor it to your needs and support you so that your organizations can be thriving and healthy in the current and future landscape. So we're really looking forward to it.
Thanks, Joe. Sasha and Rebecca from BDO.
Yeah, thanks. So in our core workshop, we've named it Finance Essentials for Government Funding, but we'll really be looking at what are the ways you can strengthen your fiscal infrastructure as you prepare to have contracts, or even if that's something you've done a little bit of, making sure you have some of those best practices in place. We'll delve a little bit into how to build budgets, monitoring, and modification, and also thinking about how is the contracts going to affect your cash flow. And our workshops tend to be, some presentation with some interaction. I think a huge amazing thing about this program is that there are these core in-person sessions, which I think we all don't get as much advantage to do anymore. So not only are you going to hear from us, but I'm sure we'll have interaction with all the other cohort participants and how they are thinking about these things. Our electives are a tiny bit different from ARES in L White in that each one is 2 parts. So if you like to bring the team to the cash flow projections, we're asking that you come to the first part, one virtual session and the second virtual session. And that's because these are going to be in a clinic modality where we're giving you a tool, we're talking about concepts, and then you're going to start actually using it and tailoring it to your specific organization needs. And we're going to workshop that together. So we'll do that both with cash flow projections, so the forward-looking, when is my cash coming in, when are my expenses, and scenario planning. How do I look at different options when we think about uncertainty? And those are going to be our 2 areas, or core areas, and 2 electives that we're looking forward to hosting.
Thank you. Lisa.
All right. So, we're going to be doing three trainings. The core training, building strong foundations. That training is one of the things I really like to impart is that there's so much more to HR than just hiring and payroll. And so, really, we like to envision HR as a partner to an organization, really fostering an alignment between your organizational's mission. We have this philosophy around building, looking at your mission and how it aligns with the HR department, right? And so, we're going to explore that and how this could happen. And we're going to look at different areas. So we're going to talk about it from the area of compliance and legal essentials, recruitment, hiring and onboarding, employee management and development, compensation and benefits, workplace policy and culture, and volunteer management. So we'll look at those pieces in that first training. In the second training, oh, and I'm going to really push this idea of a strong focus on HRIS. I think for nonprofits, I am all about a computerized system. I am a small business and I have a system. I think it is so imperative. It makes things much easier and you can capture data and, because most HRs are small teams anyway. So really just talking about what that looks like. So I want to keep that up. And I'm going to really press that a lot. In the second part, we're going to talk about the power of teams, and there's a strong alignment and um, between staff retention and relationships within their teams, their colleagues, and their supervisors and the management. So we're going to really talk about key factors in building a successful team, establishing and setting the stage for what that looks like and how to make that happen, and exploring strategies to strengthen team dynamics and engagement. And in the third one, talent that thrives, laying the groundwork for success. That's really thinking about what hiring and onboarding in the first 90 days should look like. Because again, this is all in alignment with retention and keeping staff, which is a big discussion around youth services, right? So we're really just going to do very practical about how nonprofit leaders and HR could really support and really attract the right talent, set them up for long-term success, retention, and impact. Why hiring, onboarding, and the first 90 days are critical to long-term success, because it is a big, big issue, and really how to make that happen. And again, because we only have a short period of time to discuss it, I love that we have individual coaching, we have the groups to meet to really so we can tailor it towards your conversation and what might be happening with you. And so that gives us the opportunity to discuss that a little more. So I'm really excited and looking forward to, talking and meeting everybody about this.
Great. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about eligibility for this program. As Denise mentioned, DYCD is footing the bill for this program. So they're investing a lot of money into making this robust, fantastic program that you don't have to pay for. So because of that, your organization must be registered as a 501c3 and registered with the Charities Bureau of New York State, and primarily serving New York City residents. So that's 75%, as well as being based in New York. You can't use physical sponsors or conduits. And then you have to have a full-time executive leader that can commit fully to participating in this program. So we're really looking for ED, CEO, president, a person with organizational decision-making power who is going to come to those 4 in-person sessions and is going to participate in the electives. This is really important for a lot of reasons, but one, having everybody in the room sharing with each other is what makes these programs really strong. We have some preferred considerations, and that's to say, if you do not meet all of these criteria, we still encourage you to apply. We're looking for sort of a sweet spot of emerging organizations. So an organizational revenue between $600,000 and $3 million. Again, we state this twice because it's important. Having other leaders who would come to relevant sessions. So if we have a session on finance, maybe the treasurer of your board comes. If we're having something on HR, you have your HR person, if you have one, come and join. So we're welcoming others from the organization in. And the reason for that is it's just going to make it that much easier to implement change and take what you've learned and actually use it in your organization. We also prefer organizations that have a demonstrated commitment to serving poor or historically marginalized communities and demonstrate a commitment to diversity and inclusion, including in the makeup of its leadership. So again, these 4 criteria are preferred criteria. If you do not meet these criteria, you can reach out to us and ask a question like, well, this is our situation. Should we still apply or just apply? Important dates. The application for this program is due at the end of the day on Monday, September 22nd. We're going to do a very intense review of the applications and issue acceptances on Tuesday, September 30th. The registration deadline I'm calling out here because you will be asked to actually do like an organizational assessment prior to the start of the program. And that's because this is a pilot program. We're going to be looking to see how effective it is. So it's important before the program starts that you do that assessment. It's going to, it won't take too long and it will actually probably teach you some things about your organization. So the deadline there will be Monday, October 6th. And then I mentioned previously, we have the kickoff event on Tuesday, October 21st, and the other programming will begin after that. So you can access the application using either the URL here or the QR code. I will be gifting you another email. I'll also include the link in the email. If you have any questions about the application, reach out. If you would like help filling out the application, reach out. We're really here to help you and to make sure that if you would like to be considered, that you are. With that, any questions that you have, drop in the chat and we will answer them.